What's up, y'all? Sparty here. So for this video, I want to do my actual review on the iPhone 11 Pro Max. This isn't going to be your typical video from like an Android guy's perspective where I used it for a week and then, oh, I'm not going to use it anymore because I just value customization and all that shit. I ain't going to talk about that. What I'm going to talk about here is overall as a phone, how this phone performs. And this is the 64 gigabyte variant. So it's the peasant variant. Bear in mind that since I have like what, three phones with 128 gigabytes of storage, one phone with 256 gigabytes of storage, two phones out of those four have micro SD card expansion up to 2 terabytes. One is the Note 10, which doesn't have SD card expansion. One is the 6T that doesn't have SD card expansion, and they never have, so I don't really expect that. But yeah, iPhone 11 Pro Max. I really do like this phone. Not my favorite thing ever. It's not gonna make me ditch my V60, bury it, and do a Viking funeral for it. It's not going to make me do any of that. But in terms of a companion device, I feel what this phone has done is it's kind of quelled this like desire, this need to have a Note as the companion phone to my V60. And there are other things about the V60 that made that feeling even lessen, because the V60 also has active stylus support. Sure, it doesn't have those cute little Bluetooth features that the S Pen has where you press and hold the button, you wave up, you can raise the volume, you do the same thing, but you do it down, it lowers the volume. Do the same thing, but do it left, it rewinds and right, it fast forwards. Doesn't have any of that. But in terms of like all the like, you could make GIFs, you can crop photos, you could do all that stuff. And depending on the stylus you get, like say a bamboo stylus or like a $50 one, you'll get those features. And to me, it's kind of undervalued why I liked the Note. Obviously, it's not going to be embedded in the phone, right? But sometimes you got to live with that. But enough about that. Let's get to this beauty. Let's talk about the design real quick. I really like this frosted glass back. They lifted this from, say, Google with the Pixel. The Google first did it with the Pixel 3. And this looks really nice. I really do like this a lot. It feels like aluminum. When you put it a little bit closer to your like eye or something like that, you can definitely tell that it's not aluminum, but it's nice nonetheless. I don't like this stovetop design for the camera module. It's very, like it's very, and it's basically like that, so you look like you have a powerful camera. And these are really good cameras, but it's mainly there for aesthetic. And to me, that's kind of whatever. I like I like the notification switch. More Android manufacturers other than OnePlus need to copy this because this is really nice. I think OnePlus does it better because you get silent sound and vibrate rather than just all off, all on. So that's really nice. What else? It's like, yeah, overall, it's just like it's a really nice design. The OLED display is really nice. It's really quality, obviously. The problems that I have with it, I have indeed spoken on in the past, right? Where the iPhone has this problem where on the home screen and in overall usage, yes, you don't really see pixels. But when you watch a YouTube video at 1080p, you can see pixels. It's very weird. It looks a bit blurry. It's not my favorite in terms of watching YouTube content, but overall, it's serviceable. It does the job. And the speakers on here are really good. They're no V60 speakers, but they're bassy. And to me, that's really nice as well. I really do enjoy that. But in terms of like loudness and clarity, I do give it to the V60. Um, let's talk about like LTE connectivity and like battery life when it comes to that stuff. So, in terms of LTE, I use Google Fi, which piggybacks off T-Mobile. Used to be T-Mobile and Sprint, but since T-Mobile 8 Sprint basically, it's like LTE performance on here is good. The problem is it drains the battery bad. Like it's quite bad how much it drains the battery. And say when your phone's in idle and you're just using LTE and you have LTE on, it'll drain your battery. Like the iPhone has very good standby time, but it's very inconsistent depending on the connection, the quality of your connection, and stuff like that. And no one really talks about that. They just say, "Oh, the iPhone has great standby time." And there are times when there was one day where I left the phone like just sitting here on my bed, right? And I came back from work 8 hours later, it was still on 100%. I was like, "Oh, that's sick. That's really nice." But when I was at my apartment, right, um, it was at 100, or maybe it was like at 80 or something like that. It dropped down from 80, or I think it was 100. Yeah, it definitely was like 100. It went down from 100 to 60. I was like, what was happening there? What's happening there? In terms of games obviously play really well on here. It's an iPhone. Like, since it's one phone that rules them all in terms of Apple, you're gonna get optimized games. So that's nothing to really cry home about. And in terms of like performance with the games that I play, Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross, Marvel Contest of Champions, and King of Fighters All Star. In terms of King of Fighters All Star, I was able to get, I think, 4 to 5 hours of playtime out of it, and that's just auto grinding. Same for Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross, it was around the same amount of time. Comparing that to the LGV60, though, that's a little bit under half. A little bit under half. Where the V60 with Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross will do 9 hours and 21 minutes, which is very impressive for how like intensive that game is. And it'll do like in terms of like King of Fighters All Star is more comparable, where both of those are like 4 to 5 hours. But in terms of like Marvel Contest of Champions, on both is really well optimized in terms of like battery consumption. The iPhone, like I play for like an hour or two and it may drop like to 80, and that's pretty much it. Like, and that's really nice. So gameplay, you really don't have any issue on here. Genshin Impact plays fine on this phone. I don't really think like the only thing that I would say is better is load times compared to like the Android competition. But overall, it's like yeah, they both play pretty much the same. There's really no difference. Well optimized games are well optimized games, and to me, that's really nice. Um, what call quality is really nice on here too. It's not my favorite in terms of call quality, but a lot of people obviously use AirPods Pro and stuff like that. I no longer have those, but in terms of that, it's really good. It's really quality. Really, no problems with it. A phone should make good phone calls in 2020, right? It should do the phone call good, and that's what it does. In terms of like texting and messaging and stuff like that, I don't like the stock keyboard, so I downloaded Gboard because it gives you haptic feedback, right? And Gboard was initially meant for it initially came out first for iOS. And I like it better on Android overall. It just feels more fleshed out, it feels better. And multiple keyboard support feels half baked on iOS. Because there are some times where most of the time you'll still be able to use your stock keyboard, but say when you're entering a password for something or anything of that sort, it will switch back to the stock keyboard. So you're gonna have to either save save your passwords into, Apple and let that happen, which is typically what I do, or you're just gonna have to deal with that. And that's just something that I don't really like. I don't like that there's just Face ID either. At least have like a fingerprint sensor on the power button or on the back or something like that, so that you have multiple options. Because it's just not even that. Oh, in these times where you have to wear a mask. No, I just never really like just having one singular way of unlocking your phone that isn't. And I know there's the passcode too, but you also have to make that like six numbers. Why can't you just make it four so it's faster to get in the phone? But yeah, that's all that's pretty much the problem with that. Fast charging on this phone is really nice too. And I guess I'll just go more into battery life here as well. I can get 8.5 screen hour. Oh, I should have talked about this during the gaming, but in terms of like YouTube content, YouTube videos, I get 8 hours, 8.5 hours of screen on time watching straight YouTube, and that's really nice. It's no V60, but it's comparable and it's totally fine. Fast charging on here is really good if you use an Apple fast charging compatible charger. Say if you use like say your LG or your Samsung fast charger, it's not going to charge that fast. And to me that kind of sucks because sure I have, an Apple charger right here. I just bought this Anchor one and that's really nice too, but I would have liked to have that option, right? To just be able to use whatever I want, whatever charger I wanted. And while you can, it'll take forever to charge up. And that's really the issue that I have there. In terms of durability, I haven't scuffed it yet. I think there may be a slight scratch on the screen from just like regular use, but that's pretty much it. I don't really have any problems with the overall build in terms of durability. The stainless steel is nice, but say if you just have it in your pocket, it's not going to be that great. It's just going to be kind of it's going to be kind of, you take it out your pocket, it's going to be smudgy. All you got to do is wipe it off, obviously, but it's just something I wanted to bring up. Um, for those who don't like to rock a case and like to rock, say, like a skin from D brand or I forget the other one, Slick Wraps, if they're still around. Like, yeah, but overall, it's like, yeah, the overall design and the durability is nice. They claim stronger. It could last longer and stronger. And I'm like, well, like, obviously, I don't watch videos destroying tech because I just don't like that. But it's just something that I do indeed feel they overstate a little bit much because the moment they say that, someone breaks an iPhone by dropping it from 4 feet, or they drop an iPhone accidentally and they tumble it in their hands, and that puts more force with the phone and it falls even worse, and boom, your iPhone's done. So, yeah, but I've never dropped this phone outside of having it in the case. And I will say, in terms of like performance with like, say, a case on like this, you do get a little bit more buffer times when watching YouTube videos and stuff. So that's also makes me not use it as my top YouTube option, but overall it's still serviceable. And yeah, where do I rank this phone overall? Like I said, it's a perfect companion to my V60. Would I use it and not get the Note 20 Ultra? That's undecided. I'm still in between like a few phones that I want to get. Like I still want to get like the LG Wing. I want to get the Xperia 5 Mark II. And I'm trying to debate because I don't necessarily really want the Note 20 Ultra all that much anymore, really. I think I'm just kind of on it. But we'll see. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys feel about this. Are you an iPhone user? Stuff like that. Let me know in the comment section below. This is Sparta. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for the support. Hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday, whatever time of day it is in your area. Have a good one.